there got to be a return. In music videos, it's content, and which is great, but how are you getting that return? So you got to understand that they may have a limit, they may have a cap, but they also have a vision they wanted you to execute. So we got to figure out how to make sure that we do that.
One of the biggest obstacles artists face in the music game is access. Getting access to the people that can make it happen, or access to the information and resources you need to get to the next level. That's the key. That's why you need two of the biggest in the game on your side. Introducing McKee, Boomman. Welcome to the real industrial plug. You heard me?
Boom, I'm retiring from dancing. What was the next mindset? What was the thoughts?
How can I help dancers and models who don't understand the business?
And through that process, you realize the only way that they'll even give me the time of day is if I'm booking them on gigs.
Yeah, because I always tell people, like, I had a long dance career, but I don't think I was the best dancer. Like, I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I was above average in everything that I touched, but I felt like I was a harder worker and a harder networker, but I wasn't the best talent.
Right. Hard work beats talent.
Yeah.
I understand.
So I would be like, I feel like people, because you weren't like the elite person, people didn't want to hear what you had to say, even though you was consistently working for 10 years.
Right.
So I was like, okay, the only way that people will open their minds and their ears is if you give them money. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I got to book them on stuff. And then they'll start listening to me. Because now I'm in a position of power. So now it's like, oh, I got to listen to her. She got
know what she doing.
She know what she doing. She was like me, and now she the person booking me, you know what I'm saying? And so they started to listen, and that was like literally how I transitioned out.
And so I'm assuming because you were beginning to book people, you were getting in the world of the video directors and the casting directors. You were getting into that world, and then I don't want to take away from the story, but I'm guessing you saw the opening. Yeah.
So literally not everyone, but a lot of the artists that I danced for, I started casting for. Yeah. And then I saw they already knew my worth ethic as a dancer. And I preset to people, like, don't matter what position you're in, what level you're on, like, give them your best, because they're going to see something in you and it's going to translate to your elevation. So whatever you did as the janitor, like if you spot cleaned everything, and when you want to be an assistant, they probably going to be like, well, she was the best janitor. Right. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, on a personal level, like, that's exactly how my career started. Mm-hmm. I was a club promoter. Mm-hmm. I was throwing parties, but I was so diligent and worked so hard at that. When the artist got a record deal, they was like, well, shit, that's the smartest person we know. Yep. Let's bring him with us.
Exactly.
So that's literally how I got in the game. Because I didn't have no aspirations of being a manager or anything like that. But I was just the best connection that they had as far as knowledge. Yep. They knew I was a hard worker. They knew I was smart. They knew what I knew what to do with money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They put me in the game. That's you got to give your best at everything, because you don't know what that transition can be.
Exactly. You never know where you're going to be. And the second thing is just making sure you're talking to everybody in the room. Right. You know what I'm saying? Even when I came in this room, I dapped up everybody in this room, because I don't know what they could do, what value they could add, what we could create, what we could build. So
I just learned from a previous show that's called politicking.
It is.
It's called politicking. You know what I mean? So everybody in the room matters, because you don't know who that person will be in 10 years. Like, for instance, you were a dancer, and now 10 years later, you had the biggest production company. Now, if I would have tried to shit on you as a dancer, guess what? I can't get no room, and I can't get no space in your room you know what I mean? Yep. So I'm lost now because I wasn't playing the game right. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, my bad. So, all right, so you were already casting for these people. So then what happened?
So yeah, it was an artist that was actually signed with Flow Rider at the time. That was like a friend of mine, and her creative director was also one of my close friends, and she wanted to do a video. But when you first get signed, they don't give a lot of budget, so you gotta ask for favors, So she had hit me up like, yo, I need dancers, I need a space, this is the vision I have, but I don't know if I got the pull for it.
Right.
And so I just started putting stuff together, just calling people. Like, she wanted a horse, and I was like, no, seriously, she wanted to be at a horse ranch. And I had when I was dancing with Jason Derulo, I literally was flying back, and on my bag I had the little sticker, and one of his fans' mothers just started talking to me in the plane. That's another thing. When you're in first class,
Yeah.
Just talk to everybody.
The connections.
Too, 'cause this connect. So she
do better.
Please don't go to sleep. Talk. So she saw my sticker and she was like, "Yo, my daughter is the biggest fan." Da da da. So she starts telling me about their whole life, and they own a horse ranch in North Atlanta. And I was like, "Yo, all right, I'm gonna keep you on my Rolodex." Didn't know I was gonna. This is when I was dancing. I didn't know I was gonna be producing. So she wanted a horse ranch. She wanted like a high rise with like glass all over it, like glass windows all through. I was like, man, I got a homie that got, stayed at 12 in downtown. You know what I'm saying? Let me call him up, see, he'll give us the space. She wanted dancers. I was like, oh, I got that. Yeah. So I just started putting stuff together for her. She wanted like a warehouse space. My homeboy owned a warehouse at Metropolitan Lofts. I was like, all right, let me just call people. So I started getting like,
she had a vision.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she
had
did.
a vision,
and not no budget. So, so yeah, I was just hooking her up. Like, all right, let me call this person. Let me call this person. So when we got on set, the director came in. And, she was putting it together. It was one of those things you just pay him to come with the camera. And I'm going to put everything together. So he came, he was like asking people who did this. Oh, this space dope. This is great. Da, 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 da. Yeah. And everybody was like, oh, Princess. So he came up to me. He was like, what you do? I was like, nothing. I'm just helping a friend. He was like, no, you're a producer.
Yeah, put you on game.
Yeah, and from that moment on, I literally was like, oh, okay, I'm finna look this shit up. What am I like? What did they go? Yeah. And I just started doing that, and I started claiming it because literally, if the director literally comes on set and he's like, "No, you're the producer," then you doing something right. So I was like, "All right, let me learn more about it."
So let's make some producers right now, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We got a lot of people listening. Let's make some producers. So step one is obviously connections.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you have to, like you said, you knew the person with the horse, you knew the person with the condo. So everybody that's listening, if you're interested at all in one day becoming a producer like Princess, step one is you have to know these places, or you have to be resourceful to go find these places.
Very resourceful and just having a network.
What's the craziest thing somebody's ever asked of you?
Oh man. I don't know. It's been some crazy stuff. Yeah. Like even for Willie, it was like we had that the trickster just flying up in the air, like literally
What's a trickster?
A bike trickster.
Oh, got you.
And literally, I don't know if you noticed, but he's flying on up top of Latto and 21. But he's literally, we just had, it was a lot. There was a lot to get. Yeah. Like it was
like some BMX
different.
stunts type shit.
But they wanted him like doing circles in the air.
What?
Yeah, so it was like, hold on, what? I gotta understand what you're asking me to do. I gotta get an understanding of it. So that I actually can accomplish it, but we did. So that video was kind of crazy. But it's been a lot. Like
what was the one that gave you the biggest headache? Like what was the hardest one?
I don't want to put nobody's name out there.
Yeah, you don't gotta say no names. Just tell us what happened though.
We worked. I worked a 32-hour day.
32 hours straight.
Yeah, I didn't sleep. Because with the video, I had people walk out at 18 hours and then another group at 22 hours. And then my cleanup crew came at 23 hours. Yeah. And I had to stay there for that. So, yeah, a lot of artists.
The demand is high. They want everything.
Yeah.
All right. So back to the producers, right? So, we got to have the connections. And then what would you say is... What would you say is like, okay, boom, I feel like I know a lot of people. I feel like I moved around. How do I need to meet directors? Like, how do I begin putting my name out there to be a producer?
So if it depends on what realm of producing you want. We're talking about music videos here. Yeah. So the people who are like the gatekeepers when it comes to music videos are the commissioners.
Video commissioners. Yeah, so the labels.
So those are the people, like, and a lot of people, when I'm talking on set about the commissioner, people don't even know who they are or what that is.
So you got to tell us, who's the video commissioner? What is that?
I always say that they're the liaison between production company and label. Mm-hmm. So they have the artist's best interests. So that's why I call them the gatekeepers. But they're also the ones that handle who's going to get hired and what production company they're going to go with, or what director they're going to go with, and they basically make the deal and make sure both sides are heard, right? So getting in good graces with the commissioners, the video commissioners, is usually like how you're going to get hired in
for those roles. Mm-hmm. So to make it even more plain for you guys. So like, if I'm a artist at Interscope and I'm putting out my new single, what your entrepreneurship. That's named my new single. I'm putting out my new single called Entrepreneurship, right? The video commissioner at Interscope, his job is to go and find the director and producer for that song, and then come back to me and say, here's a treatment and budget from the producer. Do you like this? Like, so like she said, they're the liaison between the label and the people that are actually executing the music video. And so every label has one or multiple. Or multiple. And so your job is to get on LinkedIn.
Yes. and figure out who they are.
Figure out who those people are. All right, so boom.
I get thank you cards and Christmas cards and everything.
Exactly. So boom, now I'm resourceful. I know I got to holler at the video commissioners. Okay, what are the other steps that I need in order to begin my business process?
So yeah, being resourceful, having a network of people in different areas, from hair and makeup all the way to stage managing to, ADs. I would also get in good with a lot of directors and DPs, because if they like to work with you, and they get the calls first a lot too sometimes. Sometimes the production company may not get it, but the director and DP does. Another thing is just understanding how to stretch money. You know what I'm saying? So like, what?
I was just going to say, okay, we spoke on it a little bit earlier, but DP.
So the director of photography, like I said, they're the vision. So the director of photography deals with the cameras and the lighting. So that's why I tell you they're what we see. The director is how we feel. The DP is how what we see, our vision. So because they have a better understanding of light and angles. Right. So
so my favorite thing to critique in movies is the cinematography, and that's the DP. That's the person who's actually shooting it, the person sitting behind the camera. The director is sitting back there in that chair that say director on it, while the DP is out there sitting behind the camera capturing the vision. And so you're saying make sure you're tied into the directors and the DPs. Okay,
yeah, because they get a lot of calls, because a lot of people think about the creative first. They don't think about how to execute it. They just think about what's a great idea. And the directors are mostly the ones that are going to create that. With their creative director, with their writer, or by themselves. So they're always thinking about that first. And then that director is more so thinking about who I could work with that's going to make sure that this looks good with the money that they're thinking about giving me. So that's why the director is a good person to be in touch with, because they're going to probably call you or refer you for the job. So yeah, directors, DPs, commissioners, being resourceful, having a network, and stretching your dollar.
We didn't get to the stretching the dollar. Okay. Talk to us.
So everyone has a budget. Everybody has a limit. You know what I'm saying? So probably starting off in your career, you may not get the biggest budgets, and that's why becoming resourceful and understanding money and how to manage it. Like I said, we manage people, time, and money. You have to understand how to really manage that money, and how to stretch that dollar, because they may say, I honestly only have $5,000. This is a new artist. I don't want to put that much more in there until I know there's going to be a return. Right. And you got to think like a business person too. If you're investing that much money, like the label is investing or the independent manager is investing into that person, there got to be a return. And music videos, it's content, which is great, but how are you getting that return? So you got to understand that they may have a limit, they may have a cap, but they also have a vision they wanted you to execute. So we got to figure out how to make sure that we do that.